Hello and a warm welcome to What's New with SAP BTP. We have a great agenda lined up for you, starting with SAP Work Zone. And we have the honor of having with us Yumnah Abassi, Product Manager at SAP Germany. The next topic will be DevOps, app development and automation with Harald Stevens and Boris Zarske, followed by SAP HANA Cloud Data and Analytics with our product manager, Thomas Hammer. Last but not least, we will have time for Q&A, and I would like to ask you to post your questions in the chat anytime you wish. And with this, I would like to hand over to Yumnah Abassi. Over to you, Yumnah.
Thank you so much. Hello and welcome everyone from my side as well. I will quickly start sharing my screen and I hope you can see it now. So let's begin with, can you see the screen now? Yeah, hopefully. Okay, so I'm going to give you the updates on SAP Build Work Zone for Q3 2023. And I will start with the bigger picture, and then we move forward to we drill down and see where SAP Build Work Zone is in this bigger picture, starting with BTP, which is the business technology platform, which is a platform that combines several capabilities in one business-centric public cloud platform. And here you can see we have app dev as one of its components that includes, that is to build and innovate. And this is where Build Work Zone lies. But as I said, let's go one by one into this, starting off with what SAP is offering as its unified low-code offering for professional and citizen developers. And it enables low-code application development, process automation, and digital experience. As you see here, you can compose apps with SAP Build Apps, automate processes with SAP Build Process Automation, and lastly, design business sites with SAP Build Work Zone. And today our focus is going to be on SAP Build Work Zone and how the portfolio is set together. Starting off with our vision, with what we call the digital experience services, is that we want to increase user productivity by intelligently providing access to applications, processes, and information anywhere on any device. But how is SAP actually doing that? To answer your question, we have this very great slide that shows a modular offering for establishing a central access point. And as you see, we have three different parts of this, starting with SAP Start, SAP Build Work Zone Standard Edition, and then SAP Build Work Zone Advanced Edition. Firstly, we were very thrilled. So this is also something that is new. So also from Q3, so this is great. A great place to share this news as well. SAP announced its out-of-the-box central entry point that aims to give end user a powerful but very simple experience to navigate through SAP's entire cloud portfolio. This is SAP Start, and it is basically a very distinct name, but it is still a part of the SAP Build Work Zone product family, and it is built on the same foundation. So the technical foundation is the same as the other two editions named after. And then we have SAP Build Work Zone Standard Edition, and where we have very new and exciting news and capabilities that I'm going to be sharing with you today, which is the central access to SAP Cloud, on-premise, custom, and third-party applications. And it combines content from multiple content providers, custom apps, and UI integration cards. And it leverages customization and extensions such as branding, translations, shell plugins, and domains. And then the last bucket we have here is for SAP Build Work Zone Advanced Edition, which is used to build business sites, or which comprises of everything that I've talked before. So all the capabilities of the standard edition, But we have some additional capabilities that are offered on Advanced Edition as well, that include web content, documents, knowledge base, forums, and feeds. It gives a guided experience, and it is additionally, it has solution-specific business content that can be added to your Advanced Edition. With that, this is all also super new. This is the standard edition was formerly called Launchpad Service, and now they have come together also under the name of SAP Build Work Zone. We also have SAP Start now, so we are navigating through getting the best service and the best way of the central access, giving central access to our customers in the best way possible. Moving forward to what is new with SAP Build Work Zone Standard Edition. So this is with lots of delight. I would inform you that SAP Build Work Zone Standard Edition is now generally available with a new site experience starting from Q3 2023. So this was our latest release, and it comes with latest functionalities that are based on Horizon Visual Theme for SAP Fiori. And it offers new design time capabilities that are targeted to the content administrator. And they can now create spaces and pages manually. And moreover, they can also add UI integration cards and tiles. So what this new experience is that it is about enabling and giving a more flexible experience to our customers on a very new theme. With this, I would say, let's finish with the very boring PowerPoint slides and dig into some interesting stuff. So I'm going to show you a short demo of the new experience. For that, I will have to change my screen. So bear with me for a second. I will just pick up the here. Yes. So now you see on your, I will start with the end user, what the end user view is when they come to the standard edition. And as I said, this is based on Horizon Visual Theme for SAP Fiori. Where I am right now, it is our, as you say, hello, see here, hello, Ben. So this is Ben is our business user, and he's a project manager. And what you are seeing right now on your screen is his personalized work zone site. And in this site, the administrator has created spaces and pages for him based on his business needs and his daily tasks. So this is very customized. This depends on what you do on your daily basis that can show up on your site. So this is the home page. When we go down, the administrator has populated his pages and the tiles and the UI cards with data that is coming from different backend systems. For example, we see here the time sheet. This is coming from S/4HANA Cloud. The goals that can be cascaded through to your different team members that comes from the backend system of SuccessFactors. And here you see all of this on your homepage when you come to the office in the morning, and it is so easy because everything you need and want is then right on your fingertips. We can, for example, start from here and see if Ben wants to manage his timesheet, he can just click over here. And with this, yeah, so now he's here, he can see, he can put in his daily tasks. So he can add in the hours for his administrative tasks, his training, his travel times. He can create the requests in here and then just save and submit it right from here as well. Then we go back here. Also, there are some, as a project manager, he have different workspaces over here. For example, you see over here his professional services. If we go to this, or we also see lots of other capabilities that can be used from here. For example, planning customer projects, creating internal projects. So if I give you an example of this and go here, here Ben can easily create an internal project. He has to put in the relevant information that is needed all over here. And then when he creates, the project will be created, and it is as easy as, okay. Yes, so this was what I showed you right now was the end user view. So what the end user sees when he is on the standard Build Work Zone Standard Edition. Now, as I talked about some other capabilities that are more from the administrator view, we can also quickly check into that. So for that, we have to be in our system administrator is a person who can design custom pages. And for that, from here comes on the, we have to enter the content manager. And if you see from all items there, if you go in apps and plugins, you can see Task Center, Inbox, and lots of other apps here. If you want to edit a page, you can go from here. You just have to select the page that you want to edit. So the overview page in this case. And when I go here, you will see that it is very easy and a very flexible way of when you click edit here, a very flexible grid-based layout shows up, which means that you have, when you go down, this the administrator can actually add tiles, add UI cards, can also change and see everything that is already added over here. So for example, my calendar, we are in October, so the lunch timing, some private appointments that can also be seen here. You can also very easily edit this page. So when you use this, you can add a section by this plus button. You can also add a section on this side. You can also very easily delete these recently added sections from here. Yes. Okay, and then, for example, if you want to change the title of the page, that can also be done from here. Then, as I talked about adding widgets, this can be done from, yes. So you, when you go here, you have the option of adding widgets, which can be your UI integration cards, firstly, which will show visual representation of your apps or in a very flexible layout. Or the other option, you also have to add tiles. And yes, so when you go on tiles, you see all the tiles that are available. Depending on your daily work, on your daily tasks, the tiles can be added from here to your page, to your home page, or in this case, I would say the overview page. So that was a short demo from my side. I would not save it for now because we have to, we don't want to make any changes for now, but it is as simple as you just saw. And now I would hand over to the next presenter for today. I will stop my screen shares. That.
So yeah. This would be me. Just let me bring up my camera. Yeah, hello, my name is Harald Stevens. I will start sharing and switch to the slides first. So the overall topic is DevOps, but we will concentrate today, at least from the demo point of view, on cloud transport management. Therefore, the slides say so accordingly. So what will we be doing today? First of all, again, just where do we find ourselves with the DevOps topic? We find ourselves down here in the app dev area, and to some extent also in the automation area. So that is, we are also part of the, say, basis foundation of the business technology platform. And today, I will concentrate on major news in cloud transport management. On the one side, I will show you the central transport request table view in the demo and what you can use it for. And from there, I will also jump into a new part of our transport-centric view, where we can display transport request metadata, which is also something we have now enabled and is used already by a few content types, and we hope that there will be more in the future. Before I go into that demo, just a short news about new content types we are supporting. I think very importantly, we have SAP Analytics Cloud that has been enabled in August. We have SAP Mobile Services, which is available via the Content Agent service. And I put it in here as well, although it was already end of Q2, SAP Build Process Automation. So that fits a little bit to what Yumnah just showed, that the overall SAP Build suite consists of 3 parts, and one of them is the process automation, and that has been enabled for transport as well. And of course, the work zone is also already enabled for transport. And we have 2 smaller applications, entitlement management and the batch release hub for life sciences are also enabled for transport now since Q3. Okay, now let's switch over to the demo. And what we see here is the entry screen of transport management. Should be known to you if you're already using transport management. And here we have one thing which gives trouble to some customers. That is the usage of our persistence layer, the storage usage. And if you come close to the limits here, then you're looking for ways how to find out which transport requests you might not need anymore, so that you can save some more space. And that is what your transport requests list can help you with. So if you go on this new tab here, transport requests, then you get a list of all of your transport requests inside this instance of transport management. Not only the one in one node, but you get all of them. And by default, they are sorted by time when they have been created. So the newest ones are on top and the oldest ones are on the bottom. So now you can have different approaches what you can do with this list. So for example, you can look for the very old transport requests which are still active in the system and are using up space. So to do that, you use the sorting button here and say, now I would not like to see the descending level. I would like to have the creation date in a ascending level, ascending row sequence. And now you get the oldest ones on top. Now you see here, I have here a transport request from 2020, which is using up 7.3 megabytes. And so I would have to check why it's still in the system. Yeah? And so if I now click on that, I go down to the transport-centric view, and I see it has not been imported into any system so far. Yeah, so it has just been created in the development system, but it has not been imported there. I can see that here on the dark gray, and the light gray means it's not even in the queue here. Yeah? And so that is a good candidate for being deleted, because it is 3 years old. Nobody cared that it has not yet been imported. So this could be one of the candidates to be deleted. And so I could now check several of these transport requests, and I could now delete them in one go. And they would be deleted from all the queues they are still in. So you are saving quite a bit of steps here to get rid of very old transport requests. On the other side, what you can also do is you can sort by the size of the occupied storage. So you can find out which are the transport requests which are using up the most space and are therefore good candidates for being deleted if they're not needed anymore. So if I sort the list like that, you see here, my biggest transport requests are using up 16 megabytes. And so again, here I have a very old one. I can check that one out. And I see that it has been imported successfully in dev and QA, but it has failed in the production environment. And so this, of course, would require some more research if this is still needed, if it should have gone into production or if something has gone wrong. So I can drill down now into the transport logs, and I can see here a fatal error occurred during the import. So the import into QA happened 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, and this try in production was done this year in May. And if I can now drill down again even more, I can find out what was the reason for the fatal error. And you see here some build pack compile failed, and might be we might have to look even more deeper into that error if this is something we have to follow up, or if you can decide to delete this transport request. And so by this different ways of approaching your transport requests, you can really help working with your transport requests and getting rid of the ones which are using up space but not bringing any value anymore. Yeah, and please remember, if you say delete, you're only deleting the content of the transport request, not the logs, not all the audit traces of the transport request. It's only the content, and that's what is using up your persistency. One more thing I would like to show you, and that would be now the second demo, is if I search again, sort again by the created date, we have now this topic of metadata information in the transport-centric view. So if I go now to one transport request, and this is one of the ABAP steampunk transport requests, they are using already this information here. We have this metadata objects information where the calling application can fill meta information about this transport request into, and we are displaying it here. And later on, we're also planning to do even more with this metadata, but currently it's only displaying, and of course the offer to the applications to fill that information so that you can have a deeper look into the content. For example, here we see the name of the software component inside the ABAP environment. We see the branch from which this transport request was created, in this case, the main branch, and we see the commit ID, which is then referring to a specific state of the repository of this software component inside the source system. And as another example, I have here information from a process automation content. So if I go into this one, they are also using the metadata information already. And here they are showing the name of the environment. So we have the AU10 Open SAP Dev environment. And here we have the name of the content of this, which is transported here, in this case, test 2345 in the version 1.0.1. And the content type is process automation, and this is the source tenant ID, if this could be interesting as well. Yeah, so this would conclude my demos. And with that, I would hand over to Boris.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Harald. So yeah, as Harald outlined, the SAP Cloud Transport Management Service is also part of our recommended approach to apply Agile DevOps principles in enterprise environments. And that's why we thought it's a good idea to then also advertise our new learning journey around DevOps with SAP Business Technology Platform. And let me just briefly bring it up. So here we go. Let me make it bigger, and I will also paste here we go, the link into the chat so that you can directly try it out if you like. Here we go. You see, it's part of SAP Learning. It's called Discovering DevOps with SAP Business Technology Platform. It is a beginner level learning journey because we thought it's a good opportunity to get everyone on the same page. And let me just briefly give you a glimpse on what we have there for you. The first part is about introducing DevOps, again, to get everyone on the same page on the terms and what it's all about, what are the benefits you want to achieve with that, meaning explaining, for example, continuous integration and delivery and different flows and approaches. The second part then breaks it down to SAP Business Technology Platform, where we explain why it's a good idea to also consider that for your projects, like when you build extensions on SAP Business Technology Platform, so that you just get aware of what you can expect from the whole approach. And if you then say, okay, those benefits, they really sound tempting, so I want to give it a try, you can go to the next unit, which is using SAP BTP services for DevOps, where we explicitly outline the different services and really guide you what you have to do to adapt it, like setting up the right account model, considering the right delivery approach, setting up your first pipeline, where we have a very low entry barrier pipeline service offering, for example, but you can also use your existing infrastructure if you should already bring corresponding expertise and so on. So that's really covering also those parts. And here you see we also cover, of course, then SAP Cloud Transport Management Services part of the recommended approach. And the final part, the fourth unit, is then about running the whole setup, where we say, okay, what do you have to do if you're owning a pipeline? How do you handle transports? How you can monitor and then also continuously optimize the whole approach. And in terms of formats, here just going into we have videos, we have text, we have a lot of figures, we have interactive elements. Here, a very simple one, we just can go through the different phases. What we also have is we have an imaginary example company. You can see it here. It's called Rotating Banana. So every time you see this logo, you will get an example on the previously discussed aspects and see how this example company does break that down to their environment. And with that, of course, we hope that that will help you to also adapt it then in your environment. At the end of each unit, there's also a short quiz, just to make sure that you can take the most important learnings with you. Pretty simple. And what I also want to point out is down there, you can also directly provide feedback if that lesson was helpful, because we also plan to constantly improve it. Just to give you an idea, the next iteration, most probably we will put more focus to also cover aspects around integration with application lifecycle management, like SAP Cloud ALM aspects. And if you have further feedback, of course, that would also be helpful. So give it a try. And spread the word with the colleagues that might also be interested in that approach. And with that, I would hand over to Thomas to look into what is new there around SAP HANA Cloud. Thomas, over to you.
Thank you so much, Boris. And hello to everyone, first of all, because I think it's definitely great to see you and talk about new innovations in HANA Cloud and in BTP overall. As Boris was saying, it's now time to talk about innovations in HANA Cloud, but just to give you a better idea of like where you can find HANA Cloud within the BTP portfolio, it's actually part of our data and analytics solution stack, meaning we're delivering tools like SAP Analytics Cloud. If you're familiar with that, we're delivering SAP DataSphere as a part of the data and analytics solution portfolio, but we're also for sure shipping SAP HANA Cloud to you as part of the BTP, which is great because you can not just make use of the tools and the services that you just heard about, having a BTP contract, having the BTP as a foundational platform for your enterprise, but you can also make use of core database services, as HANA Cloud is one of those. What is HANA Cloud? I mentioned it's a core database service. To be more precise, it's a managed database as a service solution, actually our latest generation of such. And with HANA Cloud, we try to provide holistic services for you to create so-called intelligent data applications. Why are these applications specifically intelligent? Well, we deliver capabilities not just to store and to process data in a relational database as you might used to be using it. We also give capabilities to you basically as sort of a tool set which you can make use to derive additional value from your data, like by performing specific analytics using our predictive analysis libraries, by making use of machine learning integrated into HANA Cloud. So it's more like one tool set, one big powerful tool, which can handle all your data. It can store your data in the most efficient way, but it can also derive new value out of the data, bringing data into context and, let's say, pulling additional value and insights out of that rich amount of data that you have at your side. Now let's look at innovations, as this conversation specifically today is about what's new in our product. And as you can imagine, we have introduced a lot of innovations into our solution to SAP HANA Cloud, but I've just picked out 3 innovations that I would like to talk about today and give you a glimpse at what we have introduced, and then for sure share some more resources with you where you can find definitely like the entire scope of the release, and maybe also some interesting resources for you to discover afterwards to see like what has been released apart from that. First of all, let's talk about our native storage extension and the new advisor that we have introduced specifically for that feature. Now, I think we first of all need to make a little step back in order to explain what the native storage extension is all about. Now, HANA Cloud, first of all, is a service which is actually delivering multiple database services to our customers, not just a single one. For sure, we're shipping the so-called SAP HANA database, as this is the core of our service. It's our in-memory data storage and processing engine. And this is the true heart of SAP HANA Cloud, and is for sure like one of the most important components. But there is another very large and very important component part of HANA Cloud, which is our data lake. And here on this picture, you can see that basically we try to always illustrate it as sort of a pyramid, where you have SAP HANA on top, where you want to store probably your most recent, your most relevant data, which is very important for your business, as it truly fuels all your operations and your transactional business. But it's also like the backbone for a lot of enterprise analytics, having the in-memory capabilities. Now, the data lake, in contrast, is very interesting, as it gives you the possibility to store even larger volumes of data at a significantly lower cost. And that makes it especially interesting when like handling data in the cloud, because using cloud technology, for sure, you also want to make use of principles like pay per use and pay as you go. And therefore, you also want to have different storage tiers, which maybe come with a different cost profile. And exactly the SAP HANA database and the data lake have these different cost profiles. The data lake is more like a low cost, large volume data storage, while our SAP HANA database is like the power horse of the solution. And within even the SAP HANA database, we have already 2 tiers. So not just a tier of the data lake and the HANA database, but we have one tier, which is our in-memory store. That's what you can see on the top. And we have a second one, which is our native storage extension. And the native storage extension is a technology allowing you to move data from the in-memory store to the disk storage, which is like the most natural and easiest move, and gives you already great possibilities for cost savings, for instance. Since beginning of this year, basically the decision, or the let's say the instructions to move data from memory to disk storage were always like in the hands of the administrators. In a sense, they would have needed to identify which tables, which assets, which columns or partitions can be moved to disk space, just to save cost, not impacting actually the analysis running on top of the data. Because a move to disk can for sure also have an impact on the performance. But in many cases, it's quite beneficial from a cost profile perspective. And as we received a lot of feedback that this decisions should be driven based on data and based on usage statistics and on, let's say, the rich value and the rich information we have in SAP HANA Cloud in terms of access patterns, in terms of data volumes in general, we introduced a tool which we call Native Storage Extension Advisor that now gives the database administrators, let's say, that better guidance in a sense of how like they can page the data out to disk. The way you have to imagine this tool is it's actually super handy to use, and I will also demonstrate it in just a second. Within the HANA Cloud Central, which is our main landing tool for SAP HANA Cloud, you have the possibility now to activate the NSE advisor. And this NSE advisor will collect usage statistics of your data. And based on the defined configurations for the advisor and on the usage statistics, it will give recommendations on which data can be paged, for instance, to disk. There is always two modes, which we call page loadable or column loadable. One means data resides primarily in memory. The other means data can be moved out to disk for performance, or let's say without significant performance penalties, but for cost-saving reasons. And this really enables our developers to, let's say, focus on their main activities and get a better guidance on when to move out data to the disk storage. For instance, specifically interesting, as I mentioned, for scenarios where you have like larger historical data volumes, which you just don't want to fully move into the data lake, but for now, just utilize the so-called native storage extension. The next innovation that I briefly want to tease before we then jump later on into a demonstration where I will show a few of those are the so-called MDS cubes, which are part of our accelerator for SAP HANA Cloud's multidimensional service. Now, some of you may not be familiar with MDS, what multidimensional queries actually stand for, or what the multidimensional service stands for, but you can easily imagine it basically as the service being used by SAP Analytics Cloud connecting to SAP HANA Cloud and pushing down queries for multidimensional analytics. This service is the backbone for the integration between the two tools. And therefore, it is also the ideal entry point for us to introduce optimization and performance acceleration. And we have done so with so-called MDS cubes. That's a new modeling artifact for our calculation views, which are basically the way how we also model artifacts for SAP HANA Cloud. And within these, within the calculation views, as you can see on the screen, you now have a possibility to easily specify a so-called MDS cube. An MDS cube later on is just an optimized storage format of the data, which is already within your calculation view, which helps us to accelerate these multidimensional queries significantly. So very handy from a user point of view, but it has a significant impact on the performance for analytical queries in SAP Analytics Cloud. And it also reduces the resource consumption for these analytical queries significantly. So two very important reasons why you should definitely take a look at that. We will not demonstrate it today, but we have a great demonstration, which I'll just share in a second via a link, and where you can find out more on this specific topic. And then the last topic that I briefly want to also highlight is, in general, our SAP HANA Cloud Central, our refreshed SAP HANA Cloud Central, and the new innovations that we have introduced. Since our second latest release, since our June release of SAP HANA Cloud, we have introduced also a native SQL console in the HANA Cloud Central, which gives you the possibility to work even easier with, let's say, the administrative capabilities, but also with sort of developer capabilities. And I'll show you that in just a second. The latest update now features capabilities like the export for SQL results, which are coming back from the SQL console, the possibilities to change the theming, the option to select schemas and databases. So you can really work quite handily with the tool now, and that's definitely worth a look. And saying that, let me directly jump to my demo. So what you can see right now on the screen is our SAP HANA Cloud Central. And as you can see, it's the entry point for HANA Cloud, where you can basically administrate and access all your database instances. Now we want to, first of all, focus on what's truly new with that new version of the SAP HANA Cloud Central. With the version which was available before, you weren't able to like easily work with multiple database instances at a time. With the new version, as you can see in here, I have the possibility to, like, in a side panel, see all like the metrics and all the important applications which are necessary for me to work with my database instance. I can take a look at the compute usage of my system. I can, for instance, jump to the user administration. I can adjust workload management for that very specific instance that I just selected. But if I have the desire to now jump to a totally different instance, it's done with a click of a button, and you can easily also compare like the usage, the load of the instance with just a click of a button. So very handy. But now we want to focus on one instance for now. And what I want to show to you, first of all, is where you can find the new native storage extension advisor. And we have here on the main page for the HANA Cloud Central, for the instance-specific overview, the so-called native storage extension application. And once you hit the application, you have the possibility to see like how much is my buffer cache utilized. Sorry for that. The buffer cache actually is a very important configuration metric and a very important aspect to consider when paging our data. I don't want to go into details now, but when you decide to use more, let's say, of the native storage extension and more of your disk storage, then it's also important to appropriately size your buffer cache. But apart from that, you can see also here in the bottom basically already how much the native storage extension is currently being utilized. As this is just my demo instance, you can see there's not a lot of data being stored, but what you can see here in the bottom is a section on NSE recommendations. And here you can also find the NSE advisor and the possibility to activate the NSE advisor. And after activation, the NSE advisor will basically start to collect all the necessary data, which is required for us to then come to better decisions in terms of the paging of the data and the movement of data from memory to disk store in order to save costs. So really handy. And then even as I mentioned, once collected, you have the possibility to easily apply those recommendations also with the click of a button instead of running complex statements as you would have needed to do before. One thing which I want to show definitely is the new SQL console, because it's a little bit hidden maybe in the beginning. We're currently here basically on the instance ribbon of the HANA Cloud Central, but there's much more ribbons, like for instance, the migrations ribbon. Here you can trigger self-service migrations from previous product generations of HANA, even SAP HANA on-premise to SAP HANA Cloud. So very important, especially when you're starting to work with HANA Cloud and triggering your migration projects. But you can also see here now the new SQL console for SAP HANA Cloud, which is currently not connected to a database instance, but we will change that in just a second, connecting it to my test instance. And once connected, you have basically the possibility to run whatever SQL statement, for instance, select star from dummy to just showcase like how easy it is to work with the database system. The query was pushed to the database. You now can basically retrieve the results in the very same way as you would do it, for instance, with the Database Explorer. But there is no longer the need for you for easy SQL statements to jump to the Database Explorer, which was a second tool that you needed to make use of. And it's integrated into basically the HANA environment as you would require it to really efficiently work with it. So you have the possibility to select specific schemas that you want to connect towards. You can change the database instances efficiently. You can also, and that's a new feature since the last release, change the appearance of the tool to make it really, feel the way also your other, let's say, SAP tools feel, and also to make it accessible for all the users out there. And still, it's very, very connected, because now, for instance, imagine we're running a very expensive SQL statement, and we just want to jump back to the administrative view that we've seen earlier. Then maybe, let me change color first because it's a little high contrast. You may want to just say like, well, I want to see that statement and see like whether it's truly expensive or not. And in HANA Cloud Central, we have a new UI, which is like the command palette. And that's what I just opened with that tiny little find button. And here we really see like the power of the interconnected tool, because with a click of a button, I'm jumping back to my administrative overview and I have like here insights into the SQL statements and the expensive statements running. So that's really handy, especially as said for administrators and developers who are kind of having both roles at once. Last but not least, before we jump into Q&A, one thing that I definitely want to highlight, because I mentioned I only picked 3 features basically for this time. We just had in September a What's New in SAP HANA Cloud session, where we were talking about much more innovation that we have introduced to SAP HANA Cloud. And I'm inviting everyone basically to take a look at the replay, which is also available on YouTube. I'll share the link in just a second into the chat. And we also have a very comprehensive blog post every time we release new innovations to SAP HANA Cloud, where you can find a definitely comprehensive overview on everything that has been released to the product. And with that, I would hand it over to Tania for the Q&A and say thank you to every one of you.
Well, thanks, a big thanks to you and all our other experts. Currently, we don't have any questions yet, but being from the Global User Groups organization, I can tell you they have one topic currently in their minds, and that is Check-it. Check-it is coming up in 2 weeks, and that's the only topic they have. And I would like to ask our experts, do you have a favorite topic, a favorite session you would like to recommend? Thomas, you're still unmuted, so would you like to go first?
I can definitely go next. Actually, I have a slide on that, so let me just maybe share that briefly. I have numerous sessions that I'm super excited about with regards to TechEd. We, as all of you know, like AI is top of our hats basically, and we're super eager to talk about like the new innovations that we're planning for AI. So this is a big topic, and as I mentioned, HANA Cloud brings already like machine learning capabilities, predictive analysis capabilities to our customers. So stay tuned for everything related to AI. Sorry for the issues with the screen sharing, but I think you should now be able to see the right screen, hopefully. Apart from that, as we're talking innovations and roadmap and like what's new, you should definitely not miss also our sessions on everything what's new in HANA Cloud, the roadmap sessions, the sessions on recent strategy and innovations. I think this is really going to be super exciting, as we'll be talking also about all the new things upcoming. And then as we're talking to user groups today specifically, we have a ton of material in terms of hands-on sessions for HANA Cloud. Here on the screen, really, this is just a small number of the sessions listed. So make sure to check out the session catalog. But to me, specifically, as you were asking, like what you shouldn't miss maybe is everything related to the intelligence that we're bringing to our applications and also our BTP solutions, including AI.
Great, thank you so much. And Yumnah, do you have a favorite session?
Yes, that's a very difficult question, though. There's a long list of sessions, and I'm not sure if we can pick up the favorites. But as you can now see on your screen, we have lots of sessions. So in case you're traveling to Bangalore or you are in Bangalore, so for your information, TechEd is in India, Bangalore this year, and it's on the 2nd and the 3rd of November. We have lots of on-site sessions that are focused on SAP Build Work Zone. We also have a customer session, which is going to be very interesting. And other than that, you can see SAP Start and SAP Build Work Zone in action together. So you can see more of some demos there, and also what's next for SAP Build Work Zone and SAP Start. So as Thomas was just saying, it's always interesting to see what is coming up next, what is the roadmap, also some other sessions that are virtual. In case you're not in Bangalore, then you can You can see the list of our virtual sessions. There's also one that is what's new with SAP Build Work Zone, where innovation meets productivity. As you can tell from the name, that's super exciting. Everybody wants to be productive nowadays, so why not? And then I also listed a session that is an overall SAP Build session. That's not only SAP Build Work Zone, but also process automation and SAP Build apps. But as this is a whole, SAP Build is an overall portfolio, and we would love you all to learn everything about the whole portfolio as well. So do tune in to that virtual session as well. Yes, and sorry, couldn't pick a favorite there.
Thank you very much for your recommendations. Well, I would like also to ask Harald and Boris, do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot for the question as well. And yeah, for me, it's also a tough pick here. But what I can tell you is that SAP TechEd is a great opportunity to learn also a lot about the latest news and improvements around DevOps, especially also with SAP Business Technology Platform. So yeah, for the virtual event, I want to point out this practical DevOps approaches, because that's also taking it a step further, where we also want to share some best practices around, for example, Git branching, and other questions we have received from many customers throughout the months since the last TechEd. So that is highly recommended. The second one, nevertheless, from the virtual TechEd is also something I want to point out. It's around operations of the platform with Cloud ALM, because Cloud ALM is also the operations platform for the business technology platform, and it really allows you to have a central approach for a lot of different topics. And you can also learn about how that breaks down in terms of the different monitoring capabilities like health monitoring or the other central alerting capabilities, especially for SAP Business Technology Platform scenarios. At SAP TechEd Bangalore, yeah, I'm also very happy that we have a very broad coverage there. I did mark those sessions that are related also to, no, sorry, it's the previous slide still, that have a touch point also with SAP Cloud Transport Management Service. So if you're especially interested in those will be also covered then in those marked sessions. But apart from that, we have different lectures around DevOps in general, but also trying to break it down along the different aspects, then complemented with hands-on sessions where you can really experience how to use that. And of course, also roadmap sessions where we want to give way forward. So again, very great opportunity. So thanks a lot for the opportunity to share what we have there. And yeah, looking forward to the event, of course.
Great, thank you so much, Boris. And a big thanks also to Thomas. You added 2 links. I'm sure they will be very interesting for our attendees. I do have one content-related question, Thomas, actually, because just the other day I talked with my user group, and the topic was yours, SAP HANA Cloud. And they asked why HANA Cloud does not automatically decide which data is stored in memory or on disk. Would be great if you could share some insights.
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm happy to, and that's a super fair question. I mean, we've just seen an NSE advisor which provides guidance for that specific question. But I mean, it's super fair to say, why isn't the database just deciding on when to store data in memory and when not, to make it basically most cost efficient in a sense? And there's always a risk that such a decision of storing data in disk instead of in memory can have an impact on performance, for instance. And therefore, we always give that decision into the hands of the database administrators who have a true understanding of their actual scenario of the data being stored, of the structures of the tables, of the access patterns, and understand how frequently data is being accessed also from a business perspective, instead of just applying automatic artificial algorithms. And that is basically the main reason. I mean, there is, as you can see with the advisor, there is a big step now towards automation from our point of view. And we can definitely imagine that we will enhance the advisor with even autonomous capabilities in future. But for now, we decided to be still very careful and now utilize the feedback that we're also receiving from the user groups on the NSE advisor before introducing any automatic capabilities, which will, in worst case, have a negative experience on the product and on the users. And that's definitely what we want to avoid. And therefore, we don't automatically decide on how data should be, let's say, organized within the database directly.
Great. Thank you so much, Thomas. That was a great answer. We still don't have any question in the chat, but I would like to ask our attendees, in case any questions come up later on, the slide deck will be up in the next few days. Feel free to ask your questions in the comments area. We will definitely follow the comments area, look at the questions, and our experts will be happy to answer them there. So, and with this, a big warm thank you to our experts for your time and your excellent presentations. And then, of course, a warm thanks to all our attendees for joining. We hope you got a lot of value from today's session, and we look forward to seeing you again during our next What's New with SAP BTP. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. See you at
Bye.
TechEd.